She compared me to her dead husband, forgot our anniversary, then blamed me for going on the cruise I planned for her. You don't expect your marriage to die over a cruise. But that's what happened. Not instantly. Not in one dramatic moment. But slowly, like water dripping through a crack in the ceiling. Until one day you look up, and the entire roof's gone. It started with a calendar. Specifically, our anniversary. 10 years. A full decade. Through layoffs, surgeries, miscarriages, family drama, and that one miserable year where we shared a one-bedroom with her sister, Amber, because she just needed a place to stay a few weeks. 10 years of making it work. So yeah, I planned something big. A surprise Caribbean cruise. Balcony suite. Gourmet dinners. Live jazz. No responsibilities for once. Just her and me. Away from the noise. I booked it 6 months in advance. Saved. Hid cash. Worked overtime. And I made damn sure she didn't find out. Until I handed her the envelope on the morning of our anniversary. She blinked at it. Confused. What's this? Happy anniversary, wretch? Blank stare. Anniversary. I felt my heart stumble. It's October 10th. Still nothing. Then, oh, right. Like it was a dentist appointment she forgot to cancel. I smiled, trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was just tired. She'd been working a lot lately. Long hours. Distant. Distracted. It's okay. I know things have been hectic. But open it. She pulled out the tickets. Read them. And instead of excitement, she frowned. A cruise. Yeah. When? Next weekend. I already got time off approved for both of us. She shook her head slightly. Ethan. I can't just leave right now. I have meetings. Reports. Deadlines. I talked to your manager. Tessa helped me plan the time off, said your calendar was clear. That's when her jaw tightened. You talked to Tessa? Yeah. She said you'd been stressed and could really use, so now you and my best friend are planning secret trips behind my back. I stared. Completely thrown. What? No. I mean, yes, I wanted it to be a surprise. For you. You should have told me. I'm not a child. You forgot our anniversary, Rachel. That shut her up for a beat. But then came the deflection. You know what Kyle did for our anniversary? Kyle. The ghost in our marriage. The perfect ex. The dead husband. He flew me to New York. Front row seats to Hamilton. I exhaled slowly. That was before you were drowning in work and bills and exhaustion. This was supposed to be us getting back to that. Kyle would have asked. Kyle never surprised me with something that made me feel small. I felt it in my chest. Like a punch made of ice. So now I'm the guy making you feel small because I tried to do something nice? She crossed her arms. You never listen. You do things for you and pretend they're for me. I didn't yell. I didn't throw the tickets. I just stood there, looking at a woman who used to cry when I brought her drive-through fries after work. A woman who once said, I'm so lucky to have you after everything I lost. Now I was just the placeholder. The comparison. The guy who wasn't Kyle. She left that night. Said she was staying at Amber's. Didn't say when she'd be back. Didn't ask about the cruise. Didn't even hug me. And as the door closed behind her, I stood in the kitchen holding 2 cruise tickets, trying to figure out how trying to do everything right still left me standing alone. The house was dead quiet the next morning. Rachel's closet was half open. Her favorite mug still had a lipstick mark on it. But she was gone. Not a goodbye note. Not a text. Just a silent, angry exit and a cloud of perfume near the front door. I sat at the table, both cruise tickets in front of me. 7 nights. All-inclusive. Premium suite. Caribbean breeze. Reserved under Mr. and Mrs. Allen. I looked at her seat across the table. Still empty. And for once, I let myself get angry. Not just hurt. Not just disappointed. Angry. I gave Rachel 10 years of my life. Helped her pick up the pieces after Kyle died. Stayed when she spiraled. Listened when she compared my every move to his. I made space for her grief. For her healing. For her mistakes. And in return, she forgot our anniversary. Called my surprise selfish. Said Kyle would have done it better. And walked out. I poured myself a drink. At 10:40 a.m. judge me, I don't care. I sat with that drink, rereading her last message. She hadn't even told me when she was coming back. She just wrote, I need space. I'm with Amber. Don't make this worse. So I didn't. Instead, I called the cruise line. Can I change the second guest's name on the reservation? Absolutely, sir. As long as it's 48 hours before departure. I thought about inviting my brother. He could use the break. But he just had a baby. My cousin? Maybe. But we hadn't spoken in months. Then I thought of Tessa, Rachel's best friend. The one person who knew everything. Who helped me plan the cruise in the first place. The one who kept asking, gently, over and over, Are you okay, Ethan? I hesitated. Then texted her, still got your passport? Tessa called 5 minutes later. Is this a joke? Nope. She's really not going? She walked out. And you want to take me? Only if you want. I'll go alone if not. Silence. Then, what time do we leave? 3 days later, we were at the port. Rachel never called. She never checked if I was okay. Never asked if I was still going. Never even hinted at regret. It was like she'd erased me. So I erased her from the reservation and boarded with Tessa instead. Let me be clear. I didn't bring Tessa to start drama. I didn't want revenge. I just didn't want to spend 7 nights in a luxury suite alone, sipping mojitos next to honeymooners and happy couples. Tessa was kind, funny, relaxed in a way that Rachel hadn't been in years. We boarded, checked in, dropped our bags, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I exhaled. The first night was awkward. I'm not gonna lie. Tessa was quiet. I was overthinking everything. Dinner felt like some kind of emotional infidelity, even though we weren't doing anything wrong. We sat across from each other, sipping wine, barely speaking. Then she said, "You don't have to pretend you're okay." I looked at her. I don't even know what okay is anymore. She smiled. Good. Because you're allowed to be pissed. And suddenly, I laughed. Loud. Too loud. People stared. I didn't care. We talked the whole dinner. About Rachel. About Kyle. About how we both tried so hard to prop up a woman who hadn't looked either of us in the eye in months. Tessa admitted. She stopped calling me when I took your side. Told me I was choosing the wrong person. You were her best friend. Yeah. Past tense. We clinked glasses. The cruise itself? Perfect. Clear skies. Live music. Good food. We snorkeled. Drank too much rum. Watched bad karaoke. Danced at one of the ship's rooftop bars. And no, nothing romantic happened. There were no blurred lines. Just peace. And that felt better than any passion. On the 4th night, Tessa looked at me and said, "You've been grieving her for longer than you realize. She's not dead." No. But the version of her you married is. That one hit hard. Because it was true. I'd been holding on to the idea of Rachel. The woman who once sat in the middle of our living room floor crying over a bad sitcom. The woman who held my hand in the hospital when I lost my mom. The one who used to write me notes on napkins during lunch shifts. But that Rachel? She disappeared years ago. And I'd been trying to love the ghost she left behind. The night before we docked, I got a message. From Amber. Rachel's sister. One sentence. She saw the cruise pics. She's losing her mind. I replied, "She could have been here." Amber answered, "She knows." When we got off the ship, Tessa hugged me. "You're not alone. Don't let her make you feel like the villain for finally choosing yourself." I thanked her. We didn't make plans to see each other again. It didn't need to be more than it was. 7 days of healing. 7 days of finally feeling human. 7 days of not being compared to a dead man. And when I got home, there was a message from Rachel waiting. "I can't believe you took her. I needed time, and you replaced me in a week? You humiliated me." Kyle would have waited. There it was. Kyle. Again. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone in my lap. Then I typed, "Kyle's dead, Rachel. And so is this marriage. I begged for your attention for a year. You gave it to your grief. I planned a trip to remind you we were still alive, and you walked out. You didn't want a husband. You wanted a placeholder. And I'm done being that." Then I blocked her. I made coffee. Sat on the porch. Watched the sky shift. And for the first time since October 10th, I didn't feel like I was waiting for someone to remember me. I had already remembered myself. You'd think after everything, after forgetting our anniversary, walking out, ignoring my messages, and watching me take the cruise without her, Rachel would have found a shred of humility. But no. She doubled down. And what started as silence turned into a full-blown public meltdown I never saw coming. It started with a photo. A random one. Nothing romantic. Just a picture Tessa had posted. The two of us sitting on the ship deck, drinks in hand, sunglasses on, laughing at something dumb one of the cruise entertainers had said. Harmless. Light. Completely innocent. And yet, within an hour, Rachel had lost her mind. She commented, "Nice to see you moved on while your wife was grieving." Then, "I hope it was worth it." And my favorite, Kyle would be disgusted. There it was again. Kyle. The ghost of our marriage. Her perfect late husband. Even in divorce, I couldn't compete with a dead man. I didn't reply. Not to her. Not to the comments. But other people did. Friends. Acquaintances. Even her old coworkers. They started asking questions. Pointing out what she left out of her version. The missing context. Didn't he book that cruise for both of you? Wait, you forgot your own anniversary and he's the villain? Sounds like he finally took care of himself. Rachel deleted the post within hours. But the damage was done. 2 days later, I got a knock on the door. It wasn't Rachel. It was a courier. Envelope. Heavy paper. Legal seal. Divorce papers. Filed. Signed. Delivered. And I'll be honest. Even though I was expecting it, I still sat down for a long time after reading them. Because ending a marriage? It doesn't feel like ripping a Band-Aid off. It feels like realizing the person you built your life around never planned on staying. I didn't cry. Didn't rage. I just flipped through the pages. She wanted everything divided 50-50ths. Fair, sure. But no acknowledgement. No apology. No note. Not even a damn sticky on the first page. Just business. Like she was terminating a subscription. I called Ben, my lawyer. He read the docs. Then said, "She thinks you're still trying to save this." I'm not. Good. Then let's make sure she knows that. We filed our response. Requested mediation. Offered a clean split. No fight. No drama. No revenge. Just done. But apparently that wasn't enough for Rachel. Because if she couldn't make me hurt in private, she'd try to do it in public. It happened at Tessa's art show. 3 weeks after I returned from the cruise. Tessa had invited me. I hadn't seen her since we got off the ship, but we'd kept in touch. It was casual. Friendly. Respectful. I showed up, said hello, grabbed a glass of wine, and started walking through the gallery. Then, I saw her. Rachel. Standing at the back of the room, arms crossed, glaring. And the second she caught my eye, she started walking toward me. Fast. "So this is where you bring your rebound?" She said it loud. Loud enough for heads to turn. I stayed calm. "Rachel, this isn't the time. Don't Rachel me. You're not invited. This is Tessa's event." "Oh, I'm aware. I saw the flyer. Funny how you support her now. I've always supported her. She didn't forget me. You're disgusting. And you're trespassing." Tessa approached, calm but firm. "Rachel, I need you to leave." "Oh, of course. Defend him. You never could keep boundaries." Tessa didn't flinch. "This is my night. Not yours. You want to fight? Do it somewhere else." Rachel looked like she was about to explode. Then, in front of 24 people, she shouted, "He never loved me. He just wanted to erase Kyle." And I finally broke. "Kyle's not the reason we fell apart. You are." Silence. You could have heard a pin drop. Then I added, "I tried. For years. I gave you every chance. But I'm not competing with a dead man anymore. I don't deserve that. And neither does anyone else." She stormed out. I thought that would be the end. But of course, it wasn't. Because later that night, she posted again. This time it wasn't just about me. It was about Tessa. She wrote, "Funny how your best friend will hold your hand while you grieve, then stab you with it later." Vague. Petty. But pointed. Tessa saw it. She texted me. Should I respond? No, people are messaging me. Then let them. We don't explain truth to people committed to lies. The fallout was quick. Mutual friends picked sides. Rachel's crowd labeled me heartless. Said I moved on too fast. Said I should have waited. That she was still grieving. But my circle? They knew the truth. They saw the years. The silence. The exhaustion. They watched me beg a woman to come back to the marriage and get compared to her dead husband in return. Then called a week later. She's dropping mediation. Wants it all finalized ASAP. Sounds like the outburst embarrassed her. Good. You sure you're okay? I think I've been okay for a while. I just didn't notice until now. The divorce finalized 6 weeks later. Clean. Quiet. Over. No final fight. No dramatic goodbye. Just a letter in the mail confirming what we both already knew. It was done. And I was free. I sat on the porch the night the papers came. Phone in hand. I thought about texting her. One last time. Something like, "I hope you find peace." But I didn't. Because peace isn't something you get from someone else. It's something you choose. And I had finally chosen mine. You'd think a divorce would be the final chapter. But with Rachel, it was just the intermission. 3 months of silence. 3 months of peace. 3 months of sleeping through the night without wondering if I was going to be guilt-tripped over breakfast. Then she showed up again. This time, she didn't bring a lawyer. She brought a latte and a look I hadn't seen in years. Soft. Apologetic. Desperate. It was a Saturday morning. I was at my usual spot, small cafe near the park, corner table by the window. Earbuds in. Book open. Finally feeling like I could breathe in public again. Then she walked in. I saw her out of the corner of my eye, and before I could even blink, she was standing in front of me, holding a to-go cup. "I thought you might still come here." I took out my earbuds. "Rachel, can I sit?" I paused, then nodded. Why not? Let her talk. Let her show her hand. She sat down, smoothed out her sweater. Took a breath. You look good. Thanks. You've been quiet. I've been divorced. She flinched. I deserve that. Yeah, you did. She stared at her cup for a while. Then, I messed up. Took you this long to figure that out? No. I knew. I just didn't know how to say it. You always knew how to speak, Rachel. You just never used your voice for me. She bit her lip. I don't want to fight. Then what do you want? Silence. Then, to try again. I blinked. Come again. Us. I've been thinking. I know I hurt you. I wasn't ready to let go of the past. I took you for granted. But I see it now. I really do. I leaned back. Arms folded. You showed up at my table to say you're suddenly ready for the man you spent years comparing to a ghost? I was grieving. And I was alive. She reached across the table. I pulled my hand away. I still love you, she whispered. I stared. No emotion. Just silence. Then I reached into my bag. Pulled out a copy of the final divorce decree. Here. She looked confused. What's this? Proof that I loved you enough to let you go. Ethan, no. You don't get to rewrite this. You burned the house down and now you're cold. She tried to speak. I didn't think you'd move on so fast. You moved on emotionally years ago. I just finally caught up. She got up. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't take the papers. Left the latte. Typical. Half finished. Like our marriage. A week later, she texted. You really won't even consider it? I replied. You didn't miss me. You missed control. She didn't respond. And that, finally, was the end. The next few months? Clean. Quiet. Mine. Tessa and I kept in touch. No labels. No drama. Just two people who'd been through the same storm, finding shelter in conversation in small moments. She never pushed. Never asked. Never expected anything from me. Which is how I knew I could trust her. One night, we sat on a park bench, watching the streetlights flicker. She asked, do you regret it? What? The divorce. All of it. I thought about it. All of it. The years. The ghost of Kyle. The silence. The begging. The cruise. The art show. The final meeting in the cafe. And I said, no. Because it finally made me stop lying to myself. About what? That I could save someone who didn't want to be saved. Here's the thing about people like Rachel. They don't want a partner. They want a mirror. Someone who reflects back what they need in the moment. Comfort. Praise. Forgiveness. But the second you show them their reflection, the cracks, the damage, they turn away. Or worse, they blame you for noticing. And I noticed. Too late, maybe. But I noticed. And I walked away. Not out of hate, but because I deserved better. And now? Now I have it. Even if I'm alone. Even if nothing serious ever happens with Tessa or anyone else. Because for the first time in my adult life, I know what peace feels like. And I'll never trade it for chaos again. Some people don't let go. Even after the final papers are signed. Even after the door's been shut. Even after you say, to their face, there's nothing left here. Rachel was one of those people. And the longer I stayed gone, the more she seemed to need to convince herself that I hadn't left, that I'd been stolen. Brainwashed. Pushed. Because if I was taken, then she was still the victim. If I walked, that meant she broke it. And that, she couldn't handle. It had been about 5 months since the divorce was finalized. 5 months of calm. I'd started seeing a therapist. Just once a month. Nothing heavy. Just someone to talk to, check in with, unpack some of the residual fog. I was working more, sleeping better, cooking for myself, actually liking the sound of silence. And then, Amber called. I didn't recognize the number at first. I don't save people I don't trust anymore. But I answered. Big mistake. Ethan, it's Amber. I paused. Okay, what do you want? Can we talk? Please. It's about Rachel. Of course it was. I almost hung up. But something in her voice stopped me. She didn't sound smug. Or sharp. Or bitter. She sounded scared. She's not okay. I'm not her husband anymore. That's not my responsibility. She's not eating. She barely leaves the house. She's drinking more. She's not sleeping. I stayed silent. Amber continued. She keeps saying it's your fault. There it was. The old melody. Still on repeat. She says you and Tessa manipulated her. That you turned her life upside down and left her with nothing. I couldn't help it. I laughed. A short, cold laugh. No. Rachel destroyed her own house. She just didn't expect to be left standing in the ruins alone. Amber sighed. She still loves you, Ethan. She loved control. She loved being the center. She didn't love me. She loved Kyle. And I was just the frame she tried to fit him into. Amber didn't argue, which surprised me. Instead, she said, I know you're not coming back. I don't expect that. But maybe just talk to her. One time. Help her close it. So she can blame me to my face again? No. so she can hear you say it's over. Without screaming. Without drama. Just closure. I thought about it, then said, I already gave her that. She handed it back, and I hung up. That night, I sat with that call. I didn't feel guilty, but I did feel something. Sad maybe. Not for Rachel, but for the fact that she never figured out how to stand still without someone orbiting her. I thought about everything she threw away. Not just me, but friendships, trust, time. And for what? To be right? To stay loyal to a ghost? 2 weeks later, I got a letter. Handwritten. No return address, but the handwriting was hers. I sat on the porch and opened it. It wasn't long, just a few shaky lines. I've lost everything. I don't know who I am without someone next to me. I know I broke us. I know I never said thank you or sorry, but I'm saying it now. I'm sorry. And thank you. That was it. No ask. No manipulation. Just that. And for the first time in years, I believed her. I didn't write back. Not because I was angry, but because I finally understood something. Closure isn't something you give someone else. It's something you earn for yourself.